Oh man, what a day. So I've been very, very interested in making a lot of new content here recently, and there's one thing that I did that I'm upset that I didn't record the video for, and that was talking about the new Fantastic. Okay, so I like Marvel. Let me explain that real quick. I am a big fanatic for Marvel. When Marvel Rivals came out, I started foaming out the mouth because I'm a big fan of Overwatch, and a game that basically implemented Overwatch and Marvel characters. That was just like a dream come true. I prefer Marvel over DC. I will learn about DC stuff. However, I just prefer Marvel just in general. I think the characters are more relatable. It's more interesting to kind of sit there with some, one of my favorite characters is Spider-Man because he sacrifices everything just to be a hero. It's hard for him to manage his skills as being a crime fighter, a vigilante, kind of, and also paying rent and being in love with Mary Jane, things like that. Every single Marvel character in some way has to go through some sacrifice while they have their powers, versus DC characters, it's more of just a powerhouse of power. You know what I mean? I feel like Marvel characters are more relatable. DC characters are more of like, man, this is just tragic. This is awful. And he's a badass. Take Batman, Superman, things like that. I mean, Superman's home. You can get into it all over the place. Point is, I like Marvel. Anyway, so when Marvel Rivals came out, I was just infatuated with it. And if you haven't played it here recently, one of the new characters that dropped out were Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. Now, of course, Ben Grimm and Human Torch, Johnny Storm, are going to be in the game as well. But because I started playing Sue Storm all the time on my free time, I just deep dove into the Fantastic Four movies. Now, I also kind of went deep into like Marvel. I watched all the Marvel movies. So I probably eventually am going to drop a video talking about the Marvel movies as a whole. But the biggest thing that I kind of wanted to yap chit chat about was which one of the Marvel movies or the Fantastic Four movies was better. Out of the three that we had, the ones that are released in out that a lot of people already say, oh, it's trash, you don't want to watch it, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, it is what it is what it isn't. Which one is the worst and which one is the best? Personally, I think a lot of people think that they're all bad, and honestly, if you think that they're all bad, that's totally fine. Just listen to me yap about it because what else, you already clicked on video. At least give me a little bit of that. What I kind of started looking into first was the first and the second one. I compared, and that is the one basically with Chris Evans as Human Torch and the first movies that came out. So my qualms with this one is and the reason I think a lot of people don't like these movies is because they always do Doctor Doom dirty. Reed has always done, and in my opinion, very well. He's just someone who's just infatuated with his work. That's all he cares about, and I think they did that perfectly. Johnny Storm, perfect, but I think the biggest thing that they really messed up with, personally, is Doctor Doom. They can never get Doom right, okay? Comparatively, from the first one to the second one, we're talking like the first two movies, and then the second one being the newest, so I guess there's the oldest one and the newest one. The biggest one that I think is probably overall better, in my opinion, is probably the newer one. And let me talk about that a little bit more before I go. It's not the best. Casting is pretty interesting. I feel like whenever you try to make a show or a movie about these Marvel characters or superheroes or things like that, you want to make sure you hit all your ducks in a row. So with the older movies, I think casting was pretty good for the most part. Casting is definitely better than the newer one. But I think that just how they do Doom, Silver Surfer, and Galactus, it's too unique. You're trying to make these characters that already exist and put unique adaptations into it. It's awesome that they're in Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it's really cool that they implement Galactus into that. That's badass, and it's nice to see them at least Chris Evans get a little bit of recognition inside of a different movie. But whenever you come down to brass tacks, the plot made a lot more sense. It was a lot easier to watch. They go to space, they get powers, boom. It was very simple. And then the rest of the movies were really just them experiencing their powers, living day to day with their powers. And in the end, if you're trying to watch a superhero movie, you want to see the superheroes be superheroes, not just normal people, right? I mean, that's what I do. If I'm trying to watch something entertainment, I want to be entertained. Call me crazy. With the newer ones, I think they do that pretty well. Comparatively, between Rise of the Silver Surfer and just F4, Fantastic Four, I will have to put all my eggs in a basket and say that I personally prefer the first one, just because I like the Fantastic Four, and I think they do Silver Surfer a little dirty. If Silver Surfer wanted to absolutely atomize Doctor Doom, he would have, and it doesn't really make any sense how all of a sudden this dude is just cool with everybody. He tries to save Sue for some reason. I don't really, like, even if you reminded him of his wife or his lover, that doesn't even make any sense. It's badass that Silver Surfer's in something. Represent, dude. They also don't make Galactus a person. Galactus is supposed to be, look like your species, not a dust cloud. I think it's a cool implementation, but I just think that that doesn't really make any sense. That's not what Galactus is. You could have picked so many other villains. Why would you put Galactus into that? You could have just, I don't know. You could have picked someone else. I mean, fuck, Red Skull. Put Doom. Say Doom was blowing up other distant planets in different solar systems. Stop him from doing that. You know, that would have made more sense. Keep riding with Doom. You know, that's like that's the whole thing. I don't know. It just kind of, it broke my brain. Okay, if I'm being completely honest, it broke my brain. But whenever you go back to just the first one, it's just them experiencing with their powers. It's nice to see Ben be like, oh, I don't want to be the Thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm okay with being the Thing because now I'm helpful. Kind of a funny little plot point. I think it's kind of interesting. And it seems like there's more development as characters, you know, go across versus Sue being like, oh, you like work. You like saving the world more than you like me. And Reed is like, duh. Like, I love you, girl, but it's my job. So, yeah. And I kind of rock with that. And so comparatively between those two, that's where I'll put that one at. So when it comes to the newer one, I said that I personally like that one the most, and I know it's a different opinion than what other people are going to say. I think that the Thing is just done very unique. I think the way the Thing looks is awesome, and the lore behind it, manipulating a kid into basically being a military weapon, in the hints and the suggestion or just the idea that he will eventually be cured, I think is just a level of depth that if they were to make a second movie, they really could have like expanded with that, and it would have been a lot more entertaining. I think the cast was interesting. I know a lot of fans are going to say this. Human Torch isn't black. Who gives a fuck? All right, I don't really think color has anything to do with it. I think that they made it make sense in the lore, and if that's a reason that you don't like it, there's a lot of personal issues inside of yourself. Making a character white or black does not make something bad. Yes, it is not lore accurate, but dude, if somebody comes in and kills and does an amazing performance as an actor, as his character, that just was not that bad. Johnny was still as arrogant as ever, and he still rocked with Reed, which is something that they've always done throughout the human history. It is what it is. It just, I think the way that the actors worked, it was fine. Now, the things I didn't like about the newest one was, I don't understand how Sue got powers just because she was around during the blast. Wouldn't her powers be weaker? Why is she considered one of the stronger ones? I mean, Invisible Woman is fucking strong, dude. She could literally make a bubble inside your body and you blow up. That's it. Like that. Crazy. That alone is nuts. I don't understand how she got Invisible Woman powers just by being in the control room. That didn't make any sense. And Reed Richards has also done pretty well, and I like the fact that they gave them beginning lore. They gave Ben and Reed like why they became friends. In the older movies, they just kind of said, yeah, they're friends. Okay, cool. How? Like, how did they become friends? You're kind of just throwing this out. You're throwing information out there to throw information. I think the biggest reason that the newest movie was bad, in my personal opinion, from gathering it, I know I said that I don't really think, and I stand by that statement, it is what it is. I do not think that it was long enough. I think that the movie wasn't about them really discovering their powers. Their movie was trying to get cured the whole time, and then all of a sudden they were like, guys, let's just fight. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Everyone cool with that? Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Break. You know, that doesn't really make any sense. I think what they should have done is focused a lot more on lore and like building up each character individually, adding an extra hour and then having them experience and goof around with their powers and kind of like see how Ben reacts to Johnny Storm or Sue Storm, or how and like I like how Reed was on his own and he was smart enough to build his own suit. Like there was a lot of really nice details for it, but the biggest reason it probably flopped is it just wasn't long enough. The fight with Doctor Doom, it was just too small. And not to mention that Doctor Doom is closer to Doctor Doom. He's an insane psychopath who just is a fucking genius. He's as smart as Reed. Reed obviously excels eventually. I believe he's the smartest human on the planet. It changes all the time. They make a new character every so often. I don't know. That was, a little rant. I know I kind of went all over the place. Point is, moral of the story, I was watching all the movies, and I gotta say, out of all three of them, I think the newest one had the most potential to be successful. I shouldn't have said that one is better than the other. I think they're all, in my personal opinion, as far as Marvel movies go, it's very hard, now that we have something called Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home, you can't really beat that. You can't beat, that's like pinnacle. That's like peak. I know we all started shooting webs out of our hands as soon as we saw that. So my whole point out of all of this is Fantastic Four. I hope the next movie that drops out will be amazing. Let me know what you guys think down below. How do you feel about the Fantastic Four movies? I think it's okay to like something that other people don't like. Like I said, I don't think that they're the worst movies. I do think that they are probably all equal whenever it comes to good or bad. It's nice to start it off by saying that I think one's better than the other, but at the end of it, it's just kind of standard. I think they all do what they're supposed to do pretty well. It's a very interesting watch. If it's something to put on the background, as I've been playing a lot of Path of Exiles 2, games like Warframe, even when I was playing Marvel Rivals, I would put those movies on my second monitor and I would just watch while I would just play the game. And that's just what I do. So be prepared to see something else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I cannot wait to post some more content. There's no style of content, some gameplay, maybe some pop-ups, subtitles, and then me talking. I little dude. Love it. Stay safe, have fun, drive well. Bye, y'all. Peace.